10 Ancient Egypt Facts for Kids. 1. Near the end of the 18th dynasty, Tutankhamun reigned for 10 years before passing away unexpectedly in his late teens. The subsequent pharaohs then attempted to have him removed from history, which ironically contributed to the tomb's preservation for more than 3,000 years. 2. Beginning with the first dynasty in 3000 BCE, the ancient Egyptians developed hieroglyphs, which were used up to the latter part of the 4th century AD. More than 700 different hieroglyphs have been identified, some of which remain indecipherable. Hieroglyphs frequently used a picture, a sound that represented a syllable, and a series of images to convey a more intricate narrative. 3. Mummification and embalming were common burial practices in ancient Egypt, especially for aristocrats, powerful people, and the affluent. First, the deceased person's organs were removed, and a special hook that was introduced via the nose was used to retrieve the brain tissue. The organs were preserved in liquid, put in canopic jars, and then interred with the corpse. The body was wrapped in over 100 meters of linen coated with resin after being salt-dried over an extended period of time. The cloth was stuffed with charms and spells were written on them to smooth the passage to the afterlife. The mummy was then given a mask, placed in a sarcophagus, and prepared for last rites. 4. When the rest of the world used stone or clay tablets to record information, ancient Egypt used papyrus. Knowing the value of papyrus, the Egyptians kept the formula secret so they could use it in international trade. The fibrous pith inside the papyrus reed found on the banks of the Nile was used to make strips of papyrus. The strips were mashed together with a hammer after being softened in water. The strips were then adhered together to create pages after the pulp had dried. Papyrus was produced by the Egyptians in several classes, according to how light and smoothly grained each piece was. 5. Life in ancient Egypt was dependent on agriculture made possible by the Nile River. Soldiers and the rumored 100,000 laborers who constructed the pyramids were paid in bread and beer. It served as both a medium of exchange for trade and the main component of gifts made to the gods and deceased ancestors. Crops would fail to thrive when the Nile flooded too much or too little, and there wouldn't be enough food or beer. This implied that the gods were dissatisfied, which frequently led to unrest in Egyptian civilization. 6. A sphinx is a mythical creature with a lion's body and a human head. They served as a sacred site's protector in ancient Egypt. The most well-known is the Great Sphinx of Giza, which was erected by Pharaoh Khafre to guard both his own tomb and a tomb of his father Khufu inside of his pyramid. Another is the once 3-kilometer-long Avenue of Sphinxes, which guarded the route between the Karnak and Luxor temples. 7. Obelisks are massive stone spires that honor the creation's Benben stone. In order to serve as a magical ward and to represent the creator god Atum, obelisks were typically constructed of Assyrian granite and placed in pairs at the entrance to important temples or tombs. The bulk, 13, of the 21 standing obelisks from ancient Egypt, which were stolen during the annexation of Egypt, are located in Rome. In addition, there are obelisks in Istanbul, New York, Paris, London, and Egypt, where 4 still stand. 8. The well-known Queen of the Nile, Cleopatra, was of Macedonian ancestry and was born in Egypt. Following the demise of Alexander the Great, the Ptolemies governed Egypt and were renowned for maintaining pure bloodlines by marrying within their own dynasty. Most likely a brother and sister, Cleopatra was married to both of her young brothers before she wed Julius Caesar and moved to Rome. 9. Cats were first domesticated by ancient Egyptians, who also worshipped them. Cats, unlike other animals, were frequently mummified and interred in tombs honoring the goddess Bastet, and there were heavy punishments for mistreating, killing, or eating them. Around the world, collections and museums house cat figures made of wood, stone, and bronze. 10. The sole structure among the 7 prehistoric wonders of the world is still standing in Egypt. Only the Great Pyramid of Giza, located in El Giza, Egypt, has endured. The capital city of Cairo is home to the magnificent pyramids of Giza, which are still breathtaking today. The greatest of all the pyramids, the Great Pyramid of Khufu, was constructed in the 4th century BC to seat the pharaoh Khufu. It is currently referred as the Cheops Pyramid.